First question, really, one of the most basic ones is how can HR as a function think more strategically and partner more with the business?
Yeah, absolutely, Thomas. Thank you for the question. I think foundationally, the most important thing to being the best partner we can to the business is just truly understanding what drives, motivates, and inspires our organization, our customers, whether they are patients in a healthcare setting, whether they're e-commerce individuals in a technology setting, whether they are part of a government organization supporting health. It's just truly important to understand what success looks like in those businesses. And in order to get that, it's about having the meaningful conversations to get to the root of what's driving that organization.
An HR, they've got to be informed of what's going on. So again, drop the details sometimes and try and be informed of what's going on in the world around you, in the businesses around you. Look ahead, look forward, and see, oh, that's really interesting. So you really have to sometimes stop your day-to-day thinking, okay, and just go ahead with sort of looking forward, looking what there is something new. Might not need it immediately, but it just puts you in that mind frame. And I think the other most important thing is, how do you do it? How does an individual get around to doing that? Well, probably if we think about a post-COVID world, spend some time with the salespeople in their business, in their job, and try and spend some time with them. Spend some time with the technical people, spend some time with the marketing people. You've got to make that effort and step away and live their life, because if you don't speak their language, you're not going to help them.
And I'm really curious, in terms of how you learned investment banking, because we know, one of the bedrocks of strategic thinking is to know your business. Yes. Any tips on how you really came to understand the business? How do others go about that?
Well, we introduced a program within HR. It was about 12 of us, I think, at that time. Every one of us had to do a month's training over a 12-month period on the shop floor. Mm-hmm. So in the dealing room, in the corporate banking, in the back office, in IT, what we realized was how important the back office was. So the front office always portrays itself as, we're the earners, we're important, without us, you wouldn't have a job. But actually, what we learned really was it was almost the other way around. It was almost the other way around. If they didn't have the support, payments couldn't be made, things couldn't be reconciled. And you needed the back office. If there was a crisis, back office management had all the plans. Even now, I've no doubt with the epidemic, the companies that have managed the best have probably got the best plans. And it will be back office. It will not. Yeah. So that's what we realized early on, that back office needed the same attention as the front office. And we changed our bonus program as a result of that going around.
Wow. Of course, we know with horizon scanning and understanding, trying to look forward 2 to 3 years in advance. How do you kind of wrap your head around the strategic future of the business?
Number one, in my role, I work a lot with our business development team, right? And so what I try to do is look at where are we heading, whatever sector it is that we're playing in or whatever business we're playing in. Again, leverage your network and build those relationships and have the conversation. So I talk to our BD team and say, where are they looking to play? I look externally. I partner with consulting organizations. Doesn't necessarily have to be high expense. There are many ways you can get external data.
Well, I think, first of all, it's a question of changing the mindset. So an HR function has to change its mindset from that of traditionally being an internal service to being a business partner. So what does actually that mean? It means sort of speaking the same language. So, if you don't change internally and what you think, I'm no longer a service, but I'm actually working together with you and being your business partner, I speak your language. It's a whole shift in the way of thinking of partnering. You're blurring the lines. So I think the important thing is to blur the lines. I'm not the HR function which has delivering you a service every day. I'm part of your business.
Credibility at the top, you have to stand up and you have to stand out and you have to be brave. If you manage up, if you really do have a good relationship with your chief executive, whatever the business, that has to be the number one goal, I would have thought, of any HR function, to have a good relationship with the boss. And it doesn't matter how many layers, you still need to get up there.
Yeah.
You need to be known, and you need to have the credibility. Not just do what you're asked to do without actually showing that you are an individual with your own ideas and you're not just fulfilling a brief.
So a few things that I do in order to get a deep understanding quickly about the organization and what those measures of success are. First of all, it's very important, in my opinion, to establish a good relationship with your finance partner. So truly spending time having your finance partner walk you through the financial statements, what do revenues look like, what does cost look like, just really getting an idea of where the opportunity is, again, where the pain points are, because off of that, you can learn so much around what region is driving your biggest amount of growth, what incentive plans are most successful for your commercial organization. You can really pull a lot of levers if you truly understand, or just spend the time talking to your finance partner. You definitely don't have to be a finance professional but just spending the time and learning the business.
Regardless of your title, and I don't think it has to be about title or function, I think anyone can become strategic. What are some things that individuals can do to kind of get their mind around more of the business and becoming more strategic thinkers?
HR is a critical function of a company, but it's almost like a mission. The person has to feel the mission of being an HR person. It's like being an educator or in the school. You have to have the passion for it. And the passion for it means being a people's person, but not in the sense of just people, because I deal with people, but I get on with people. I understand people. I listen to people. Listening is important. Putting yourself in their place to understand what their problems are, their issues are. Sometimes you can't see them. You've got to be able to understand those, which is probably slightly different to some of the other functions. So an HR individual has to really have that passion for people, passion for listening.
Give a very good example. So I'm going back here now into the 80s, I think, actually. But I decided that for every employee that joined us, on day one, we would ask them if they would give £5 from their monthly pay to go to a charity that we supported, which was Barnardo's. By the end of the year, of course, there's hundreds of employees every month, so it goes into thousands. So after about 2 or 3 years, it's gone into 30,000, and the head of Barnardo's goes in touch with the head of the bank in London. I am then invited to meet Princess Diana. I meet Princess Diana, photographs. They get sent to the bank's magazine people. 68,000 employees at this stage. CEO decides to implement it across the piece. Initially, it sort of went into the annual report as our staff do this, but then the bank matched it, became part of their charity giving. And before you know, it was millions.
Wow.
From one really idea. That's all it was, an idea.